What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Poppy TV. I'm your host, Poppy, and welcome to another episode where we see Okinawa through my eyes. So guys, it's raining right now. It's pretty overcast. For some reason, it's not as muggy, but it's not very great weather right now. So this is a video that I decided to make. It's going to be about what I did to survive until I got a full-time job in Okinawa. This is based off of a previous video that I did about employment in Okinawa, and you can check it out in the description box below. So disclaimer, this is just my personal experience. There are probably people who were way more successful than I was, who had way more skills, way more connections and whatnot. But this is gonna be a video that's not necessarily about Okinawa or East Asian society, but more towards service members who may not want to wait to retire to come to Okinawa. They might just want to get out and go straight into Okinawa and straight into civilian life in Okinawa, rather. So basically, a short synopsis of what I did. I was a aviation maintainer, aircraft maintainer. I got out. I did contracting for about a year in the States, and then I came back here last year around November time, and then I was pretty much working at the BX for 6 months, almost on the dot, and then I got a position doing aircraft maintenance again. So these are some of the things that I did, and I'm gonna put in some stuff that I should have done that could have set me up for even greater success. So one of the main things, if you're a service member, and I don't know if you're single or if you got married to a local national and you decide to say that, hey, the military is not for me, I want to get out, I want to start my life as a civilian, but I want to do it in Okinawa, I would highly suggest that you do that with at least maybe a year and a half. Give yourself a year and a half, right? You got us from early on. Like if you have a 6-year enlistment, I say decide that at year around 4, or if you're a 4-year enlistee, decide that around year 3.5, or in 3.5 years, right? Reason being is that you got to know what you want to do, and you need time to do it before you get out. Because I know personally, especially for me in my career field, it was very stressful. I worked long hours all the time. I was constantly tired, constantly stressed out. Didn't have enough time to spend with my family and whatnot. So I was just aching to get out. But now that I'm out, and I know a lot of veterans can, empathize with me, or sympathize with me rather. Military is actually, as whatever view you have of the U.S. military, for better or for worse, the U.S. military is one of the best ways that, low income or, people just in general be, shot up into the middle class or the upper class. So it really, because I mean, once you get to a certain level in the military, a certain, I guess, rank, you're already used to the stuff, to the, the grindy stuff, or the foolishness that you have to put up with a lot of the times, the nonsense. So I guess in a way you're so used to it that you can kind of, I don't necessarily say cruise, but if you just hold out until 20 years, that's a a paycheck that you get for the rest of your life. However, some people, and there's nothing wrong with it, some people, the military is not for everyone, so you decide to get out. But not to get off on too much of a tangent, you want to have enough time to absolutely positively decide to get out or not, right? You want to have enough time to decide, because as I said before, as much as the military sucks sometimes, it's easier to just retire and come here. But again, I try not to get off on too much of a tangent. I always do that. But you want to absolutely decide that, hey, I want to get out. I don't want to be in the military anymore. So, and this time is going to set you up for the other list of things that you need to be doing to set yourself up for success in Okinawa as a civilian, right? So once you set up that time, you want to decide on what you want to do. So you got to look at the job market, and this goes for anything. This goes for whatever country you're in or whatever region of the world you're in, but you want to absolutely positively look at the job market in Okinawa. So in Okinawa, a lot of the big paying jobs rather are in IT or some kind of like field service technician type deal, because it mirrors a lot of what's going on in the island, I guess, military operational wise, but a lot of IT, some maintenance. There's also teaching jobs, as I mentioned before in another video. There's some jobs in healthcare. There's a whole bunch of stuff, different stuff, but there's not much in quantity, if it makes sense. For obvious reasons, we're on an island with an even smaller American DoD presence, so there isn't much to go around. But you want to decide that you want to get out, and you got to look at the job market research. I mean, that it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to look at a website or look at a blog for 10 minutes. You want to spend weeks and weeks and weeks upon research and what you need to do, because once you get out, that's it. Because it's not like the States where you can pick and choose from whatever state and get a job or whatever. This is it once you get out, right? So personally, for what I did, I was a biotechnology major before I got in the military, and then I decided that, hey, I want to stay here, right? I want to build a family here. So I looked at it and I said IT is the way to go, because IT is only growing, it never goes away, and there's so many branches of IT. So I'm going to do this, right? Another caveat to that on what you're deciding on whether or not to get out is that you want to assess your skill set, right? So as much as, for me at least, aircraft maintenance sucked, aircraft maintenance is a very, very valuable skill to have, because I can pretty much go to a lot of countries around the world and get paid decent money because of the skills that I have. As much as I didn't like it, I'm very grateful for being in that job, because honestly, if I didn't have that skill set, I probably wouldn't still have a job. I probably still would be waiting on some type of IT contract to open up. But anyways, yes, so you want to decide what you want to do. You want to do some market research on the jobs that are out there, and you want to properly prepare yourself for those jobs, whether that's getting your bachelor's degree or getting some type of certification to be more competitive in that job field. Number 2, this is obvious, but sometimes you're caught up in life and you might not think about it, but you want to save your money. Once you get out in Okinawa, that's it. And for most people, from even before I got out the military, it takes people months, like 3 months at the very least, to get something decent here. So you want to have enough money to kind of float yourself while you find a job, right? So saving your money is key. I've heard so many horror stories of people having to take out loans, or rather their wives or husbands taking out loans from the Japanese government or Japanese services, and then or Japanese banks rather, and they're gonna have to pay these big loans and stuff. So yeah, you gotta make sure you have money enough to survive for a rainy day and just to float yourself until you find something permanent. So personally, that's one of the reasons why I went to contracting a year out. I went away for a year to do contracting so I could save my money. So number 4 is that you want to build a good resume and you want to continually update it. So I was looking at all sorts of websites and whatnot to try and templates to try and build a resume. I constantly worked on it. I think I went on a paid website, to have someone like assess it and all that stuff. There's also a website called Fiverr. I've used it for my other channel. So before I did vlogs, I had a gaming channel. So I went on Fiverr to get some stuff for my gaming channel. So Fiverr is it's pretty much a website where you can commission artists and creators to make stuff for you. So everything from like Twitch emojis to resumes to banners to graphic designers, anything you can think of creatively, you can go to Fiverr and you can kind of commission someone to do that. So you can also commission a resume builder, and that's what one of my buddies did, and he got landed an IT job here. So yes, build a good resume. If you don't know how to do it yourself, have someone do it for you, or pay someone to do it, right? So number 5, learn Japanese. I cannot stress this enough. It is not, okay, to be honest with you, it is not necessary to learn Japanese to survive in Okinawa, but it will make your life that much easier. Not necessarily for the quality of living, you know, if you're by yourself, because even today I went to buy some tools for my new job. It helped that I knew a little bit of Japanese, but not only for the quality of life, just for you to open up yourself to the job market on island, off base rather, right? Because a lot of these jobs off base with private international companies and Japanese companies, they want you to be fluent in Japanese, or rather business level fluent. So I don't know too much about it, but there are certain levels of fluency. There's this certification called JLPT, I believe, Japanese Learning Placement Test, and they have different levels. And I believe that N1, it goes from N1 to N5. And I want to say, I could be wrong, I could be messing it up, but I want to say N5 is the lowest and N1 is like super fluent. So N5 is like you're basically like kindergarten level, and N1 is like your native, your Nigh-Native fluent in Japanese. So learn Japanese. It will make your job search that much easier, right? I'm gonna do a video on what I do to maintain my Japanese. As I said before, I'm not near as fluent as I should be. As long as I've been studying Japanese, I've been on and off procrastinating, so I need to get on that. But trust me, learning Japanese will help you a lot. I mentioned this in my other video, but I got a job offer. It was paid really well, and the Japanese compensation system for jobs is way better than in the States, way better than American companies. And I missed out on the opportunity because I wasn't fluent in Japanese. So as I said before, learn Japanese. If you're deciding to stay in Okinawa, learn Japanese and knock out those placement tests, the JLPT placement tests. So number 6, find a hobby, right? Find a hobby specifically that will make you money and that will continuously improve yourself. So I took up YouTube, right? I was a big consumer of YouTube. I've always been a big consumer of YouTube since like 2010, 2009, when I came back from Jamaica. I remember getting an iPad when I used to work part-time and go to college. I remember getting an iPad, and I remember when YouTube had the little TV symbol. That's how long I've been on YouTube, or rather using YouTube. So I figured, hey, you know, these guys could do it. Why can't I? You know, I can have fun with it. And if I build a big enough following with time, you know, I can make money off of it. Because you always want a side business, because as I said before, the job market is very fierce here. The job market here consists of, or rather for Americans, a big chunk of the job market is contracting and federal jobs, in which you could either lose your contract or that federal job could force you to PCS somewhere else. You know, permanent change of station. It can make you go somewhere else. So if you want to stay in Okinawa permanently, it wouldn't hurt rather to have a side hobby that pays money, that you have fun at the same time, but pays you money to survive here in case you lose your job for whatever reason, right? And you want that hobby, or not even necessarily a hobby, not necessarily like, oh, I'm gonna call it a hobby, but do something to continuously improve yourself, whether that's learning code, whether that's learning bookkeeping, as I mentioned before, learning Japanese, all these things, continuously improving yourself. I mean, you should be doing that anyways, no matter where you live, but continuously improving yourself so that you become more marketable, you can become more independent, you can make money on the side, right? And number 7 is be patient, right? So coming here, it was I mean, I decided to come here, you know, stay here to have more, I guess, have a more stable environment for my family. So it kind of sucked. I mean, it did suck a lot being here, working at the BX where I wasn't getting that much money, and I was pretty much leaning on my GI Bill benefits. I was leaning on my GI Bill benefits heavy. But be patient, you know, network. That's what I did. Had a network with a couple of buddies that were here and that were making it out here, and luckily it came through. So network. So yeah, make sure you have a plan, make sure you know what you're doing once you get out of the military. Save your money, network. Make sure you have a fantastic resume. If you can't do it yourself, commission someone to do it for you. Learn Japanese. Can't stress that enough. Find a side hobby. Don't sit there, you know, just doing nothing, feeling sorry for yourself. Do a side hobby, whether that's, shoot, even opening a food truck, you know, coding. The information for coding is out there, you know, learning bookkeeping, being a graphic artist, you know, doing YouTube, anything you can. I mean, the internet has brought out a paradigm where you can make money from anywhere, right? So, you know, do something while you're waiting on a full-time job, and be patient, and everything will work out. So that's all I have for today, guys. Remember to stay blessed and stay tuned. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.